to do this as well. Okay, so let's just make sure again that everyone, whether you're newer here or whatever, are aware of this. Okay, so we have a weekly checklist listed right here that has links to everything we're doing. It's something I really want to make sure you're aware of. So you see where it says turn in, and then there's points under that. That's everything that I am putting points in the grade book for. Okay, so if you'll notice here, there's some points in the grade book for every single day. Okay, and so like take Monday, for example, you got the practice thing right here. And when you're done with it, you need to upload it here. So the way you do that is you upload a file. All right. And then I've really strongly suggested that you use some sort of scanning thing like Genius Scan to upload that. That's really going to be necessary for you to be successful in online math, is to know how you're going to show your work on your paper. All right. Take a picture of it, and then upload it. Okay. Super important. All right. Once you learn how to do it, it's not that hard. You just have to learn how to do it. Okay. And then two, I want you to notice this. All right. Main reason I wanted to pull this up today was this. Here's my sample student right here. So if you'll notice here, all these little blue dots, that means the grades they've not checked. So what happens here is that when you click on this thing here, then the blue dot goes away. Okay. So right here, you see that blue dot is not there anymore. That changes this number right here that's next to your grades. You need to keep that at 0 for each class. That's how you know that there's not some grade that you've not, that you haven't checked, right? All right, and then two, notice this little blue dot on this little quote bubble thingy right here. Okay, so right here, I put to myself on my sample student thing here, that it says you submitted the wrong page, please resubmit, right? And so when you have these comments over here, that means if you haven't been checking that stuff, I might have been telling you what's going wrong with what you're doing and you're not paying attention to it. Okay. And then two, make sure that when you're looking in the modules that you are noticing that for each and every day where there's practice assigned, I have made a video going over every single problem. I think most people know that at this point, but I just want to remind you, and even if you think you know what you're doing, you need to watch that and go over it, because you need to hear my voice going over the stuff repeatedly. Okay. All right. Any questions on what I've said about the functioning of the class before I get going on today's lesson? Okay. So if you got questions, remember we have target time Monday to Thursday, right? And it's from 12 to 12:45. I'll stay longer than that, but I'd say the 12:45. If you're not logged in by then I'm going to log out. Okay. All right. So here we are today, distributing and factoring algebraic expressions. Okay. So again, I send out weekly grade updates every Monday. And so that's, the work in this school is due on Sunday night. And so then we basically send out our grade updates with what you did for the previous week on Mondays. Okay. So there's that. Then two, just make sure you, as I said, check your Canvas gradebook for anything you got missing there. All right. And just know that there's no work that I give you that's really extra or not required. It's all required. All right. And then also just make sure you notice with the liftoff stuff, that the way I'm handling the grades of that is that when you finish your first 30 minutes, I put it in the first 30 minutes thing. Okay. Then when you get done with your second 30 minutes, I put it in this week's. Okay. All right. Gray.
So on the lift off,
Yep.
I can't do it because you assigned me you assigned me a quiz.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I saw your message on that. Okay. And let's not worry about that. Maybe hang around at the end, and I will like look at your screen and see what's confusing you on that. Okay. So don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. All right. It's just a, you and I need to look at it, see what's going on. Okay. No worries though. All right. Now, all right. So I would say again, make sure that you notice the comments I put in the grade book, right? And just know that there is a certain way that the work needs to be shown in these lessons, especially like last week and this week, especially next week. All right. So it's really important that you follow those examples that way. Okay. Two, I saw a couple of y'all went ahead and took the quiz for this week before you had done all the practice. Not a good idea. Okay. So a couple of y'all who did that, you need to go back after we do Wednesday and Thursday and do it again. Okay. Is really important. Okay. So what I want to say with today's notes that I want you to upload is that there should be some loops for distributing. You'll see what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that you see that also as we're going. Okay. All right. So today we're working on extending the concepts of numerical expressions to algebraic expressions involving positive rational numbers. Okay. And then more specifically, we're going to do the equivalent expressions, basically what we did last week, only we're doing with the algebra now. Okay. So that's our plan for today and tomorrow. Okay. So understand the concept of distributing and factoring algebraic expressions and practice showing the work properly the way it ought to be shown on those processes. Okay. All right. Now, so let's first think about this. The concept of multiplication. I want you to hear this wording like this is that you have a blank groups of blank, right? So for example, if I give you this, which means 3 times 4, it means we have 3 groups with 4 in each group. Okay. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one group. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another group. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another group, right? A lot of y'all remember learning how to some multiplication stuff like that. So it's like we have 4 plus 4 plus 4 is the same thing as 3 groups of 4. Okay. In the same way, all right, if it's written like this, we have 3x, or sorry, 5 times 2 right here. Okay. So this also means 5 times 2, 5 groups, 2 in each group. Okay. So that makes 10. So that means 5 times 2. All right. Now, the key to this is this, right? If we have 3x, that means we have 3 groups with an X in each group. Okay, so it's like X, X, and X. So we have X, one group, 2 groups, 3 groups, X plus X plus X, 3X. Or 3 groups with X in each group. Now, the variable means we don't know how many is in each group. Okay, so like next week, we're going to do stuff with, well, what if X equals 5? What if X equals 7? What if X equals 3/4? Right? Okay, so 3x means 3 groups, and we don't know how much is in each group. That's what it means. Okay. All right. Now, some questions on that, the kind of the definition of multiplication as it relates here. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about groups with algebraic expressions. Okay. So this is where whatever manipulatives you have, or you're drawing dots or things like that. If you're not doing that, you're so hurting yourself on your learning. I promise you. Okay. You got to have some way you're doing that to really be successful. Okay. So I'm going to take 2 groups of 4x. Okay. Remember that that would also be the same if it said 4x times 2, right? Like that. Same thing. Okay. That's commutative property, right? Just kind of reminding you of that. So if I have 2 groups of 4x's, so that's red triangles. Okay. So this one right here, I'm going to do like this 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one group of 4 red triangles. And then here I have 2 groups of 4 red triangles, right? So that's 4x and that's 4x. So that's going to be 8x, right? Well, you can think about it this way too. Okay. All right, Mary, this right here. Okay. So another way of saying that is this 2 times 4x, right? I have 4x 2 times. Okay. So 2 times 4x is going to be 8x. All right. Try another one like this All right. Again, this stuff is super important for years for you. So if you're confused, like you don't want to like leave this week confused. Okay. So we have three groups of two Y's. Okay. So Y's are yellow circles for us here. Okay. So I have two Y's. It's one group, two groups, three groups. So I have three groups, and in each group is two Y's, right? So that's two Y's plus two Y's plus two Y's. So that equals six Y's, right? But if you look at it right here, 3 times 2y, so 3 times 2 is 6. So we have 6y. Okay? Questions on that? We did a little bit of that at the end on Monday and Tuesday, or Monday particularly. Okay. Now, here's what we need to do now. We need to make three groups. So this is where you need to draw this out. Okay? You need to make three groups. And in each group, you need two X's, and one Y. Okay, so here's my first group. There's my second group. Here's my third group. Okay, so I want you to put two X's and a Y in each group. So draw it out. So each one of your groups here, you need two X's and one Y. Okay, why don't you get started ahead of me? So here's one group. So what I'm saying is you need two more groups like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put my Y in each group there. This is where having some sort of manipulative is very helpful. Okay. Now, so that's what you should have, right? That means three groups of two X's and one Y. Yes? So what I'm getting at here is when we got this, so I have three groups. Let me I'm gonna shrink these groups down here. Or maybe not. All right, so I got three groups, and in each group is two X's and one Y. Okay? So look at what we got here. We have, if you look at this right here, we have a total of six X's and three Y's. I need to shrink this down. It's not going to work if I don't. Okay. All right. I wish I hadn't grabbed that Y right there. Okay. So what we have total here, you'll notice six X's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have three Y's, right? Okay. Now, what I also want you to notice here is this. All right, I'm gonna move this a little bit like that. Okay, so if I take this original thing I got right here, okay, oops, that did not work. So if I take my original problem as I wrote it, okay, right here. All right, so what I want us to see here is this. I'll move this guy over here. Oh, and my little triangles. I'll redraw the triangles. Okay, so what we got here is we have three groups. That's what this 3 means. And each group is two X's. So if you'll notice, we have 3 times two X's. So we have six X's. Then we have 3 times one Y. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 Y's. Okay. Let me say that again. The 3 means 3 groups. 3 groups. In each group, we have 2 X's and 1 Y. Okay. Great. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so I thought that like for 3 times 2x, I thought you couldn't do that because 3 was a
Okay.
constant.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good question. But that was why I was showing you that this means we have 3 groups up. Okay. So to your point, and that's a good question because I'm sure somebody else probably thought of the same thing. So let me go to right here. And so what you're saying is this: we can't add those because they're different types of things, right? So you can't add 3 1s to 2 X's. But what you'll notice right here is that's not what that 3 means.
Mm.
Okay. So you see how this 3 right here, that's why I keep saying this is telling you how many groups you have.
Okay.
That's why I was going all the way back to the groups of multiply. Okay.
Okay.
Is that this 3, do you see? Let me circle it in green. Y'all see that this 3 means how many circles I have, meaning how many groups. Does that make sense now, Gray?
That
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay. So that's why you're saying 3 times that. Okay. So I have 3 times 2x's. So I have 2x's 3 times. So I have 2x's plus 2x's plus 2x's. You see? So all that we're doing is we're saying we're doing repeated addition of x's. Okay. Is there any other questions on that? That's a great question. Very good question there. Okay. All right. We'll do some more of them and hopefully that'll start clicking for y'all. Okay. All right. So now I want 4 groups. Okay. So draw yourself 4 groups. All right. So I got 4 groups. Okay. And in each group, so that's 4 groups, right? So you see that what I put that 4 there for is that's how many groups, and then what's inside of each group is going to be what's in there. So in each group, I need 2 x's. Okay. So draw 2 x's in each group. Okay. Hopefully y'all are noticing that it is literally not just optional to draw this out. It's super important. Okay. And then in each group, we also have 3 ones. Okay, that's the little blue ones. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you can count them out here because I got 4 groups of 2 x's. Okay, so 4 times 2 x's is 2, 4, 6, 8 x's. Right? 4 times 2x. So last week when I had you distributing with numbers and you're like, this is weird. Why are we doing that? Because this, right? Okay. That's why we did it with the numbers last week. Everybody see where I'm getting 4 times 2x's is 8x's. Okay. Now we need to see how many ones we got. We have 4 times or 4 groups of 3 ones. 4 groups of 3 ones. So 3, 6, 9, 12 ones. So that is 12. Now, notice the shortcut here. 4 groups of 2 x's is 8 x's. 4 groups of 3 ones is 12 ones. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay? Anybody confused? Let me know now. Okay? Okay, next one. All right. So I want you this time to type your answer in the chat. So, like the answer on this one was 8x plus 12. Okay. So I want you to type in the chat what your answer is once you're done with it. Okay. I would recommend you drawing it out first. Okay. After you do several practice like this, it'll be different. But right now, I would still draw them out. Okay. And then type in the chat what your answer is. So I can see if you're on the right track. Good job, Lorraine. That's perfect. Okay, so I got my 5 groups. I'm gonna start drawing my little X's. Okay. Chloe can tell y'all I totally taught her that this way this summer. Okay, so this is I'm not just telling you guys this. We got out a bunch of little Legos and stuff and we did it right like that way. Okay. All right, Steve, Gray, you are correct. Lorraine is correct. Shelby's correct. Okay, so Luke, now I want you to tell me what you get total. So how many X's and Y's you have total now? Okay. because the answer, like this was the answer on this one right here. Okay. So what I'm wanting you to type in is what this answer is right here. Okay. Charlie, I'm not sure which one you're on here. That's not okay. Good. So Luke, just put a plus between those, okay? And then you'll have okay. That's it, Mary. Just put a plus between it, okay? Because when you say I have this many X's and this many Y's, that's where you can just put the plus there. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Okay. Good, Luke. Good, Chloe. All right. I really need to see your feedback on this. I'm telling you, this is one of the super important skills, right? Like terms, distributing, factoring. Like you're going to use this for years. Okay. Um, so Trey, what I'm getting at here is you see, if you count how many X's I've got here, I have 5 groups of 3 X's. Okay. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay. So I have 15 X's. So if y'all will notice, 5 groups of 3 X's gives me 15 X's. Okay. Then I've got 5 groups of two. Oh, I should have put Y's. I put ones for some reason. I'm sorry. Those should have been yellow dots. My bad. Okay. I'm going to draw in blue right here since I did it blue down there. 5 groups of 2 Y's is 10 Y's. Okay. So this is our answer right here. Okay. That's our answer. Is that making sense, guys? All right. So this, so what you got to make sure you don't do is forget the second one. That's why I'm telling you to draw the little loops. Okay. So like notice I put 5 groups of 3X's is 15X. 5 groups of 2Y is 10Y. What's going to happen is that y'all, if you, those of you who don't like to show work, we're going to fall for a trick where I put the second term and you're going to not actually distribute it. That's the common mistake here. Okay. All right. Questions on that one? All right. Now, let's do a couple of more here. All right. Yeah, I'll give you, let's do one more before I go to the next page, just to see how we're doing. Okay. So let's do, we need, I want 3 groups of 2Y plus 3 1s. Okay. Let's draw it out real quick. 3 groups. Okay. 3 groups. And then in each group, 2 Y's and 3 1s. Okay. So 2 Y's and 3 1s in each group. Okay. So you should be able to count how many Y's that is to begin with. Right. And that's what goes right there. Then we need 3 1s in each one. All right. Yeah, good job, Trey. That's it. You got it now. So make sure you think 3 groups of 2 Y's and then 3 groups of 3 1s. Okay. Type it in when you got it because I want to this. If we can get kind of quick with this, then we can really be seeing who's getting it. Yes, Lorraine. Good job. You're doing yourself 0 favors by not typing in answers. Great. Good job. Got you, Alan. Chloe, I think you just missed what variables we're talking about here. So, Charlie, the answer is the part you put in the parenthesis right there. It's not 3 groups of that, okay? Yeah, so Mary, you don't have to put the one, you don't have to put ones, it assumes it's ones, okay? So you can just put it with plus the 9. Yeah, Charlie, that's it right there. Good job. Yeah, I know what you meant, but all right. Anybody else? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So again, here's what it looks like. Okay, so I got 3 groups of 2 Y's. That makes 6 Y's. I got 3 groups of 3 1s. That makes 9 ones. So our answer is this guy right here. So in more math terms, 3 times 2y is 6y. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay. All right. What questions you got? Anybody? All right. People who are answering are getting it right. Okay. And so a couple of y'all missed the first one and now you're getting it. All right. This is something that just takes a few to do it. Right. Okay. Now, I'm leaving manipulatives on my screen because you may still need to draw them and do the manipulatives. Okay. But I'm thinking at this point, y'all should be able to hopefully think through it. So think through this like this. I have 4 groups of 4x and 4 groups of 2 ones. Okay. So just go ahead and type me the answer in right here. Okay. See, we can do this quickly. Just type it in. What are you seeing right here? Good, Clay. So think to yourself, 4 groups of 4x's and then 4 groups of 2 ones. A couple of y'all need to check your 4 times 4. Try again. Charlie and Trey, y'all are correct. Gray, you're correct. Shelby, you're correct. Good, Lorraine. That's it. 4 times 4 is 16. A couple of y'all get your multiplied wrong. Yeah, Mary, you just kept typing it wrong there. So you forgot your X there. So what you wanted was so what we want right here, 4 groups of 4x is actually I should have written. Yeah, I did. 16x, right? And then 4 groups of 2 ones is 8 ones. Okay. All right. Making sense. Okay. So again, you can use manipulatives, but you don't have to. Okay. The idea was I wanted to show you that so that you know how to draw them out if you need to. Okay. All right. Okay. I think I just left another slide on here, so I think we're ready for this. Okay. I want you now. Hopefully, you understand it well enough to not have the manipulatives because you're not going to be able to draw out this many. Okay. So now I want you to type me this answer. So first one right here. So for A, we got 8 groups with 7 X's in each group and 5 ones. So we got 8 groups of 7 X's and 8 groups of 5 ones. Perfect, Chloe. Perfect, Trey. All right. And that's right on the second one, Chloe. Good job. Okay. Once you get this goes quick, should go quickly. Good, Shelby. Good, Lorraine. Now go ahead and get me the first one and the second one. Once you get the first one, I'll tell you good, and you can do the second one. Good, Gray. Good, Trey. Yep, I said Charlie. All right, see you around. So make sure you get nose turned in. All right. Let's see, Lorraine, you got. Let me type you in a mistake right here. So, all right, look at the chat, Lorraine. I typed you something. All right, Gray, you're right on the second one. Mary, you're right on the first one. Shelby, you're right on the second one. So, Lorraine, you were doing it right. You just multiplied wrong. Okay. A couple more seconds. Yeah, there you go. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. That was your first one. So, sorry, 8 times 7 is 56. Okay, so here we go. 8 groups of 7x is 56x. 8 groups of 5 ones makes 41. So notice we're doing this times this and this times this. So hopefully now you see that I was not being so crazy with getting you to do that last week when you're like, Well, duh, why don't I just add them together in the middle, right? I'm sure some of y'all thought that. Well, because I was teaching you the distributive property with numbers, because now you see, well, you can't add 7x and 5 together. So the best we can do with that is this right here. Okay. Staying with the second one, 9 times 6x is 54x, right? 9 groups of 6x, 54x. 9 groups of 3 is 27. Now, one other thing I might show you here that would be useful is that sometimes, this is annoying, but sometimes there's these multi-select answers that say, what are all the possible ways it could be written out, right? So we could have 9 times 6x plus 9 times 3, right? Something like that. Okay, so that could be written that way too. Okay, so that would still be a correct answer, or 6x times 9, or something like that. Or it could even be written like this: 9 times 6x plus 9 times 3. Same thing. Okay, so I was wanting y'all to see all those different ways. Okay, questions on that? All right. Now, here's some variations on those types of problems. Okay, and we still got to get to factoring. Okay, so I'm just gonna let me see how much more I got here. Yeah, I do. Okay, it's a pretty long lesson. All right, and this is all super important stuff, so I can't kind of mess around with this thing. So here is a variation of this. If I have 5 groups of 4x, I have 20x. Okay, now watch this one right here. You see there's a minus right there? If you're like, is that minus or negative? It doesn't really matter here. Okay, all you see is that we have 5 groups of minus 2. Okay, so that's going to be minus 10. All right, so notice what I did there. I want you to see that one. All right, everybody see that one right there? Any questions on how I got that? Okay, now the second one here on going to the right, if you have the 5 is after, remember commutative property. If you're like me, you would rather have that 5 in front of it like this. Is that okay to do? Yes, because we just flip the whole order of the thing. So then that's 5 groups of 6y is 30y. And then 5 groups of 3 is 15. By the way, when I get your practice in, if I don't see these little loops, I'm taking off points, because what's going to happen, I can tell you right now, I've been teaching for a long time. Okay. If you don't do this, here's what you're going to do. You're going to write that right there. All right. I'm telling you right now, because writing yeah, always do the loops, because what's going to happen is you're going to put that right there. Okay. If you don't put the loop, and because when you put the loop, you are saying to yourself, I have 5 groups of 6y's and I have 5 groups of 3. Okay. So it literally takes like a half a second. Okay. It's not hard to do, and it prevents major mistakes. Okay. Just flat out I'm telling you, seen that a million times. Okay. 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. Okay. All right. Now, just what you were hoping you would see, right? Decimals. What is that going to change anything? No. Okay. So we have 0.5, or a half a group of 6x's. You're like, man, that's annoying. Why we got to do that? Right. I agree. All right. So we got 6 times 0.5, right? Because remember, we've been multiplying that. So that's going to be 3.0, or 3x's. Okay. You'll see where I got that from. Not from a calculator, yo. Some of y'all be doing calculator thinking I'm dumb. Okay. All right. Next, we got second loop. We got 0.5 times 3. 3 times 0.5. And if you're like, I can do that one in my head, fair enough. Just be careful. Okay. So that's 1.5. Okay. Everybody see how we do it if it is a decimal? Not hard, right? It just means you have to multiply decimals. That's all. Okay. Good on that? All right. Now let's look at, what if it is a fraction? Now it is officially time to die, because there's a fraction of the problem, right? Okay. So with this kind right here, we could actually literally do this one right here in the middle and it not be a huge problem. So we have 1/2 times 8/1, right? Because you take it and put it over 1. And then you got 1/2 times 12/1. I wouldn't probably do it in the middle, though. I would probably do this. Okay. 1/2 times 8 over 1. Well, why do am I not putting the x there? Well, I know it's ever how many x's. So I'll just put the x right there, right? Then I just got to do my multiplication. So that's top times top, bottom times bottom. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay. Or if you do it the way I do and simplify before you multiply, then you'll see it's 4 right there. So 1/2 of 8x is 4x. Okay. 1/2 of 12, you probably already know, is 6, right? But 1/2 times 12 over 1. Okay. I'm going to simplify before I multiply. Oops, sorry, that's a 6. So we get 6. Okay. Questions on that? How we did it with the fractions. Okay. I went ahead and showed you it that way because you're like, oh, but what if it's like 2/3? You did the same thing as I just did over here. Okay. You won't be able to do it in your head as well. All right. Now let's factor. Okay. And you're like, dude, what in the world? Something else. We got 10 minutes. Yeah. It's not going to take that long because it's undoing it. Okay. So the idea of the factor is factors times factors equal multiples or a product. Okay. So for example, 5 times 6 is 30. 5 and 6 are the factors, and the product is 30. Okay. Another way of thinking about this is if you have 30, you can make 5 groups with 6 in each group, or you could make 6 groups with 5 in each group. So, like when we did GCF earlier in the year, right, we listed our factors. We would have, say, the GCF of 36 and some other number. We would say, okay, 36 is 1 times 36. That's the set of factors. 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, and 6 times 6, right? Everybody remember doing factors, okay? Now, all we're doing is basically that, except for what we're doing now is we're going to see how many groups we can divide it in with the little variable things. Okay. So I'm going to put 6x's or 8x's, right? All right. And then I'm going to put 6y's. Okay. Now, the question is, how many equal groups can I divide them up into? Okay. The answer is I can only put them in 2 equal groups. Okay. So watch this. Do you see how I can make 2 groups? And in each group, I have 4 x's and 3 y's, right? Everybody seeing what I did there? So when I'm factoring, I'm seeing how many equal groups I can make. Okay, say that again. So I had 8 x's and I had 6 y's. Okay, notice, watch what I did here in terms of the math right down below it. What I did here was I made 2 groups. And in each group, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. And 1, 2, 3 y's. Okay, now here's the deal. It takes a little practice, but what you can notice here is you can actually undo this. Do you see how this is exactly the opposite of what we did earlier? Because if you think backwards here, 2 groups of 4x is 8x. 2 groups of 3y is 6y. Okay. Any questions of that? I'll show you a couple more because I want you to see it. You see what I did there? So all I did there was effectively find the GCF of the 2 coefficients, right? These 2 numbers. The GCF of 6 and 8 is going to be 2. So I can divide it into 2 groups. Okay. All right. Now, so I want you to type your answer in this time. Okay. The answer on this is going to look, you see this? This is the answer. Okay. So it's undoing it. All right. So we got 6x. All right. I've got 6 x's and I got 9 ones. Okay. So I'm going to draw up my 6 x's and I'm going to draw up my 9 ones. This helps if you got manipulators because then you can like divide them up into groups with your hands. Okay. Now I want you to see how many equal groups you can make. That's the factor. So how many equal groups can you make here? And then what's in each group? I'll give you a few seconds to see who's getting it the first time, and then I'll show you this one because you might need a couple more before you get it. Okay. So I'm going to start dividing mine into groups. See if that helps you. Hint, what is the common factor of 6 and 9, right? So that would be it. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So you should be able to divide it into 3 equal groups, right? Okay. Again, to get used to this, having some sort of manipulatives divided up into groups is useful. Okay. All right. Now, good job, Clay. Gray, I think you're on the right track there, as long as you put it in the right number of groups. Okay. So 3 groups. Now look what's in each one of my groups. I have 2 X's in each group, and I have 3 1s. Right. Now, when you check it in reverse, watch me check it in reverse. 3 groups of 2X makes 6X. 3 groups of 3 1s makes 9 1s. Okay. Any questions on that? Again, we're undoing what we did the first time. Okay. By dividing it into groups. Okay. Questions? Okay. Now, I want to show you this one because I want you to notice something here. Okay. So you can go ahead and draw it out, but I want to show you this one myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So that's 12 X's. Then I got 8 Y's. Okay. Now, what I want you to see here is that we could do this grouping a couple of different ways. So in other words, I could make 2 groups that has 4 Y's and 6 X's, right? You'll notice my 2 groups right there, right? 2 groups, 4 Y's, 6 X's. You could do that. That is correct. Now, another way of doing this would be to take the biggest number that will go into both of them, which is 4. 4 is a factor of 8. Like if we did the factors of 8 and 12 like this, you could do that if you needed to on this. Okay. The biggest number in both lists would be 4. So I can make 4 groups. Each group is going to have 3 X's and 2 Y's, right? So 4 groups, 3 X's and 2 Y's. Now, the way that you would know how many are going to be in each group then is that you're thinking, okay, if there's 4 groups and there's 12 X's, what? Not 2X. Oh, you're talking about yours. All right. So if you have 4 groups and there's 3 X's, that makes 12 X's, right? Okay. You got 4 groups of 2 Y's, that's 8 Y's. Okay. Gray, what's up?
If are we allowed to write it like 2 times 6x plus 4y, or do we have to write it in the smallest way possible?
Oh, you're saying in terms of like what you want to always, unless I say otherwise, try to do it in the most possible groups. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to give you a test question that's not multiple choice, where like I wouldn't give you this one, have you type it in and then count it wrong because you didn't put the biggest one, unless
Okay.
I said you got to put the most number of groups. Okay.
Okay.
That would be unfair. What's more likely to happen is you're supposed to have you might have one of those where you have to choose everyone that's right, and you recognize that there's several different possible answers. Make sense? Okay.
Mhm.
That's a great question. Okay. Now, here, I want you to type this one right here in for me. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you a couple of these, then you show me that one. All right. So I have 49x plus 35. You're like, what the heck? I can't draw all those. You're right. But you know what a common factor of 49 and 35 is? Well, that's 7, right? So if I know that 7 times 7 is 49 and 7 times 5 is 35, then I will make 7 groups. And in each group, I have 7 X's and 5 1s. Okay. Watch how I'm checking myself because it's not some kind of mystery here. Watch. 7 times 7 is 49x, right? Then I go 7 times 5 is 35 ones. Okay. So if you did that and you got something that was wrong, you're like, oh no, I messed up. We'll try again. Right. Okay. Watch me on this other one here. Okay. So this was another one, Gray, like you were talking about. Okay. Look at this weird one right here. Okay. You could make two groups with 48 X's and 12 ones. Right. But you also could make six groups. So I'm going to give you another one. We could make six groups with 8 X's and 4 ones. Okay. And I'm not even going to do all of them, but I also want you to notice you could technically do 24 groups with 2 X's and 1 in each one, all the way up to that. Now, there might be different times where you want different ones like that, especially when you get into future years. There's some other skills that go with this that knowing factoring just means to pull out what will work, right? Kind of thing. All right. So Trey and Chloe, they've already got the right one in here. So rest of you guys type me in the one that I circled in yellow there. While you're doing it, I'm going to do this other one in here. So on this one, I could make 5 groups of 3 ones and 5 Ys. I check myself. 5 groups of 3 ones is 15 ones. 5 groups of 5 Ys is 25 Ys. Perfect. Okay. So you'll type me this one right here. All right. Who's got 18Y or X plus 24? All right. Good, Charlie. Great. Check your multiplying in reverse there. Okay. So you see how I was doing it? I was checking myself in reverse there. So think through that might help you see what your mistake is. Again, if y'all aren't typing me your answers here, like this is where I can teach you through your mistakes. Okay. Okay. Lorraine, that one will work. Yeah. So you're seeing, Gina, you're seeing what number is a factor of both 18 and 24. Okay. Meaning you could do this with 2 groups, 3 groups, or 6 groups. Okay. So the biggest number we could do would be 6 groups. Okay. So 6 will divide into both 18 and 24. 6 groups of 3x makes 18x, right? Okay. Then 6 groups of 4 ones makes 24 ones, right? 6 times 4 is 24. So, yep, that's it, Trey. All right. So, Lorraine, you had a different answer there because you had the 2 groups. That works also. You could have also got 3 groups of 6x and 8 ones. Okay. All right, good, Shelby. So any other questions on that? And we'll take no, 4 doesn't go into 18, Jim. That's why 4 doesn't work. Okay. All right. Now, um, there's a couple of I want to go through a couple of types of problems you might see. Okay. So for all values of x and y, which expression is equivalent to 10x plus 8y? So what I'm saying here is this question right here. I was looking through ways I've seen these done. This one right here, this wording means factor it, meaning the answer to that is probably going to be this right here, right? What I was just doing. Okay. All right. Now, if you got one that says this, which expression is equivalent to this, that probably means distribute. So 7 groups of 4x is 28x. And then 7 groups of minus 5 is minus 35. Okay. That would be what that one's one. Okay. And then just really quickly, if you got which pair of expressions are equivalent, okay? So you might have like this, and then this one right here might be the answer, right? Those two are the same thing. Okay, so you might get that, and then you also might have it look like this right here, right? All of those mean the same thing. Okay. And then like one like this, which FYI, when I pull these like this, that probably means I got them from similar sources to where I make your assessments from, right? I was just showing that this one right here also mean equals this, right? Okay. So which of these is not equivalent to 3x plus 3 right here? Okay, so we got 3x's. So yeah, I'm going through and I'm just distributing it first because I want to see what I got. Okay, so I got 3x plus 9. Nope, that one is equal. So I want to mark it out because it is equal. Okay, 3 plus x times 3. That doesn't look right, does it? Yeah, it is though. You know why? Because this is just flipped around. Okay, so this is just a commutative property flipped around. Okay, 3x plus 9 in parentheses? No, because that's going to be 3x plus 27. You see, that's a completely different answer. So the way that you check these is that you check each one of them, then you will know which one is wrong. That's the reason I keep telling you guys when you are writing out stuff on these kind of problems, that's why you keep missing them. It's not because they're hard, you just keep not showing the work. And then this would be 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, great. Okay. And then is the last one. Okay. So according to I've seen one like this. You're like, this is weird. It's not hard. Watch this. According to the distributive property, A groups of 5 would be 5A. Okay. You always put the number in front of the letter. And then A groups of B. This is weird, but watch. All that is A times B. How do you write that? Like that. A times B. Easy, right? Okay. All right. And then last one. Okay. So we got 3 expressions that are equivalent to 36x plus 48y. Okay, this is what I was talking about with the different numbers of factors and groups. Okay, so in other words, 36 and 48 have a lot of common factors, right? So 2 is 1, 3 is 1, 4 is 1, 6 is 1, what is 8? No, 12, right? Okay, so 6 groups of 6x is 36x. 6 groups of 7y is 42y. So that's a no because it's not 48y. Okay, so that's how I would do that first one. That's wrong. 12 groups of 3x is 36x. 12 groups of 4y is 48y. Correct. I'll check that one. Okay, next one. We have 27x plus x, that's 1x. That's 28x, 36x. Then I got 9 plus 17 is 26, plus 22 is 48y. That one's correct. 8 groups of 4x is 32x. So I know that one's wrong automatically. Okay. Then 10y plus 20y is 30y, plus 5 more y is 35y. That's wrong because that's going to give me 51x and 35y. Nope. Then this one should be right. 3 groups of 10y is 30y. 3 groups of 9x is 27x. Now, notice I got to do one more step here. I'm just combining the like terms. I got a couple of these on, I think, tomorrow's practice. Okay, so 30y and 18y is 48y. 27x and 9x is 36x. And commutative property says those can flip. Therefore, that one is correct. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that one because that was what I was getting at with sometimes you have to use different ones of the factors on checking them. Okay. Okay. So just to conclude here, all right, today is going to be distributing and factoring. And then tomorrow there's going to be some more distributing and factoring, but with some rational numbers, and some practice of these types right here. Okay. So make sure that you are very careful with those. Make sure you watch my videos going over it. Okay. And I would certainly do that. Do Wednesday and Thursday, turn those in and check them with my videos before you take Friday's quiz. I'm putting Friday's quiz in the major category because I want you to understand how major these skills are. These are major for years for you. Okay. This is what we would call essential standards. You got to get these to succeed in the future. Okay. And then also make sure you've done your 30 minutes of liftoff for this week. All right. And that's cumulative. So for most of you, I should be finding an hour now. And then just make sure you're showing your work on everything. Okay. All right. Any last questions before we go? All right. Then that is it. And yeah, great. You stick around for a minute and I'll answer your question. Okay. All right. See the rest of you guys later. If you need something, come to target time at 12 today or tomorrow. In my recording. And then